You ever spend 15 years busting your back, thinking maybe, just maybe, someday you'll be able to look around and say, yeah, I built all this with my own two hands. Well, that's me, Darius Thompson, and what I built, what I bled and sweated for, wasn't just a house, or even a home. It was a slice of the American dream, right there on Riverside Drive, a perfect, shimmering pool I saved for years to afford. You know what I mean? That first dip, the water cool and bright under the sun, was supposed to be my victory lap. Turns out, it was just the start of a fight I never saw coming. See, after the last tile was set and the landscaping was done, 40 grand and 3 years of hard choices, I finally had something to show for all those 16-hour days in construction. That pool wasn't just a hole in the ground. It was infinity-edged, LED lit, with jets for laps and heated for winter. Every blade of grass around it, I'd planted myself. Most neighbors would swing by, say nice things, maybe even crack a beer and chat. But then there was Dorothy Brennan. Dorothy was the type who wore her age like armor, 60-something, hair done up so tight it looked like a helmet, face set in that permanent scowl you only get from a lifetime of minding everyone else's business. She'd watch through her blinds while my workers came and went, like she was the warden and we were all on parole. Worse yet was her son, Trevor, 20, big guy, never held a job, always in the same baggy shorts, the kind of kid who lived in the basement and hollered about noise anytime real life happened outside his window. I swear, every time I swam, I'd feel Trevor's eyes on me, like the pool was his Netflix. And with Dorothy as the self-appointed neighborhood sheriff, I should have known trouble was brewing. She'd already called the HOA on 3 other neighbors for stuff like garden gnomes and mailbox paint. I figured if she wanted a fight, she'd find an excuse soon enough. That Saturday, the sun was gold and everything felt possible. I was floating on my back, headphones on, finally letting the world slip away. Then I caught a flash of movement through the fence slats. Dorothy, pacing and waving her arms inside her kitchen, her voice loud enough that I caught snatches about selfishness and community standards. I tried to ignore it, just wanted to enjoy my first real day off in months. Suddenly, the sun went out. I opened my eyes, and there she was, Dorothy Brennan, in my backyard, hands on hips, sun hat pulled down low, standing right at the pool's edge like she owned the place. And behind her, Trevor, lumbering through the gate, which, I noticed, was now hanging a little loose on its hinge. "Excuse me," I said, standing up in the water, trying to keep it cool. "This is private property." She just stared, then hit me with, "Don't you take that tone, young man. I've lived here for 12 years. I know what's appropriate in this community." Trevor was shifting his weight, looking at the pool like he'd been waiting all week for this moment. And then, Dorothy just let loose. "My son needs exercise more than you. You hog this pool, while he suffers. It's not fair." I nearly laughed. I mean, was this real? I'd worked my whole life for this, built every inch myself, and now I was being told I was selfish for using my own pool. Trevor, emboldened, whined, "Come on, man, just let me swim. My mom says you got all this, and I'm stuck next door bored out of my mind. You ever feel your blood pressure spike, but you know you can't show it? That was me. This is my property," I said, "and you need to leave. Now." But Dorothy wasn't done. She leaned in close and hissed, "I know your type. You people always think you can come in and do whatever you want. Not in my neighborhood." That stung in a way I wish I could explain. I'd heard things like that on job sites all my life. Never gets easier. But coming from someone trespassing in my yard, I snapped. "You have 30 seconds to get off my property, or I'm calling the police. And if you ever say you people again." But Trevor was already sitting on the pool's edge, feet in the water, acting like he'd just claimed new territory. Dorothy started recording me, shouting about hostile behavior and intimidation. I realized then she wanted an audience, wanted to twist the story in her favor, so I pulled out my own phone and started recording, too. It was a standoff. Her shouting for the camera, Trevor splashing his feet, me narrating every trespass and threat for the record. She tried every angle, medical excuses, tax dollars, fairness. When that didn't work, she threatened to call the police herself, saying I was harassing them, playing the big scary black man card in a way that made my skin crawl. But here's the twist. She tried to grab my phone, and when I dodged, she grabbed a landscaping stone and threatened to throw it in the pool. If my son can't swim, Nobody swims. I'd had enough. I dialed 911, kept the camera running. Dorothy started shrieking for help, clutching her chest, fake fainting, the whole 9 yards, like she was auditioning for a soap opera. But as soon as I said, "I'll call an ambulance," she straightened right up. Caught in the act. The cops rolled up, one white officer, one black. You could see Dorothy's whole strategy fall apart when they asked for my side, and I handed over the phone, with the entire circus recorded. She tried to claim the footage was fake, but even Trevor, shamefaced and tired, told the truth. His mom had planned this for weeks, obsessed over the pool, convinced herself and her son they deserved it because they'd lived here longer. The officers weren't buying what Dorothy was selling. She got arrested for trespassing, property damage, and threats, potential hate crime enhancements for the racial comments. Trevor, for the first time, apologized, said he wanted to pay me back, asked if I'd give him a chance to work. And I did. Figured maybe the cycle could break. The neighborhood changed after that. Turns out, Dorothy had been the community's bully for years. Folks came forward with their own stories, garden gnome complaints, fake HOA rules, endless harassment. With her gone, we had block parties, a community garden, neighbors helping neighbors. Trevor turned out to be a hard worker, lost weight, found some pride, even started community college for construction management. Dorothy, though, she served her sentence, got out, and bounced from one bad situation to another, always blaming someone else. Never changed, never learned, and never came back. Trevor, on the other hand, built something better, literally. Opened a business specializing in accessibility renovations, hired people, made a difference. He even built his own pool, 3 blocks away, the right way. 5 years on, I swim in my pool, sometimes with neighbors, sometimes just me under the stars. The water is warm, the air is peaceful, and I know now that standing up for myself, for what I earned, made all the difference. I look at Trevor, his business, his family, and I realize that sometimes the biggest battles are won with patience, documentation, and the will to say, "No, not this time." My pool became a symbol, not just of my dream, but of a community's right to peace, respect, and earned happiness. So let me ask you, if you were in my shoes, would you have stood your ground? Or would you have given in, hoping to keep the peace, even as someone tried to take what you worked for? Drop your thoughts below. Where's the line between being a good neighbor and standing up for yourself? And if you've got a story like mine, I'd love to hear it. That's how communities grow stronger, by sharing, by learning, and by never letting entitlement win over earned respect. If you believe in that, don't forget to like, share, and join the conversation. Because, at the end of the day, the only thing stronger than a good fence is a good community that stands together.